If you're a small business and you're constantly frustrated that you can't compete and differentiate, whether it's your competition next door or maybe it's big box stores, I have great news for you. You don't need to do fancy shit like wear this necklace in order to stand out. You just need to use authenticity as your strategy, which sounds like fluffy unicorn doo doo, but it isn't. For example, I just recently spoke at a conference which was mostly composed of smaller mom and pop-ish shops in the appliance electronics business. And I brought to them real live examples of how they can use authenticity to make people lean in, trust them, get them talking about them. And here's the best part. It doesn't cost gazillion dollars. It doesn't mean you have to innovate. In fact, oftentimes being intriguing is better than being an innovator. So one of my favorite examples, recent example that I brought to them was from my hometown mechanic store. So I've been using these guys for years. They're 10 minutes down the road from me. But it was just in the last couple months that I finally put on hold when I called them. And what I heard in their on hold music was amazing. Instead of snoozy music or fancy things that tell about their hours and their value proposition, they made jokes. They talked about things like how they've been in business for years and can't you tell by their gray hair? My favorite one is at one point they thanked me for holding and then said they're probably either working on cars, drinking coffee, or locked in the bathroom. The doorknob gets them every time. Now, it's not anything fancy. It's not even that funny in the normal world. But when you're not expecting it, when you often want to poke your eyes out listening to these on hold musics, this was enough for me to get not just excited, but to talk about it. And so when you use authenticity, when you do things like telling stories on your website, one of my favorite coffee shops, their story about their like rom-com love affair that took twists and turns was just enough to bring me in and make me go to their coffee shop over the other one in town. So next time you're thinking about how do we stand out? How do we get people talking? Need to think about how to use authenticity. How can you do things like replace boring business words with more human words? How can you use humility as this fast pass, expose something you're not, particularly good at, but then combine that with what you are good at? Tell stories, ultimately surprise them, get them to be woken up from their bad dream of the same old, same old. And that's what's going to have you stand out without going broke.